Yo guys, what is up? I'm doing a quick analysis video of the Cambuur Zygarden from the Season 3 of the GPC, and I hope you're all hyped as fuck because I most definitely am. Basically, before I want to start off with the first pick, I want to have a quick story, my draft experience from this season. Basically, I was not around for the entirety of the whole draft, and all my picks were made with me being either very busy, drunk, or very busy getting drunk. But anyway, the first pick I went for, I was second in the whole draft order, and I had to pick between Menifee or Clefable. Just like season 2, I wanted to get Clefable because Clefable was, of course, obviously the pick I wanted season 2 as well. Was back then really bothered by myself that I didn't pick it up at first, but it turned out Menifee was a great pick, a great substitute for Clefable, and actually probably put in more work than Clefable could have done. But I back then I decided to do it with a coin flip, and right before I wanted to pick up Clefable this season, Clefable got back to me. He knocked on my door and he said, please let me into your team. And I was like, okay, maybe I'm gonna do a coin flip, and Menifee won. So Menifee is back on the squad from the Cambuur Zygarden season 2. But I can assure you the rest of the team will mostly be different, as well, like I said, I was second in the whole draft order. We were snaking, so I didn't get the best pick. Well, I'm not saying that's a bad pick round 2, but very, like, the most picks, in my opinion, viable round 1 picks are all taken round 1 or round 2, and all taken before my turn. So I had to pick from what was left. Stuff like Clefable is gone, which was on my list. Mamoswine was gone, which was actually on my list. Those two, and together with Zord X were my original draft plan. So Menifee wasn't on there, like I said. Clefable, Zord X, and Mamoswine in that order. But all of them were gone, so none of those could unfortunately join my team. And I went looking for substitutes, and the substitutes I did have in mind, which I figured would have a potential of getting through all the way through round 2. Zapdos. Unfortunately, they got taken. I didn't expect Mega Altaria or Excadrill to be left when it was my turn, but they were my initial picks if they were still around. And other things too were already gone. Lender's Eye, of course, stuff like Mew, Mega Medicham, which is of course really good. All gone, so I had to pick up a different one, which wasn't on my original draft plan. I actually didn't even think of it through as a pick that often. I did consider picking up, or I did consider it for a potential draft plan once. So like I said, when I didn't have much time, I looked at what was left on the whole tier table, and I saw this one, and I was like, okay, this is probably the time where it's going to be very useful. And I picked up Skarmory. And Skarmory is a great pick. Skarmory is, of course, very defensive. Can be especially defensive, so it can be all around very bulky. It has, of course, a decent attack stat. Has moves like Iron Head, Brave Bird, some coverage moves, but can definitely make it a potential threat as a defensive or offensive one, actually. Moves like Taunt, it has Roost, it has Spikes, it has Stealth Rocks, Defog, Toxic, and every shit like that. So it's very much a potential hinder to my opponent. Skarmory has, of course, a fantastic typing. In the normal OU tier, it's a fucking dick. It's a pain in the ass. It plugs so many of the common sets. And in League Format 2, it's very useful. It has a very few weaknesses, but it can be patched up with either a berry, which obviously I like using. If you don't know, if you haven't seen my previous seasons, but I think Skarmory is a great addition to the team, together with Menifee, which can of course sweep or be a potential screen setter, pivot, whatever it can be. But yeah, that was my second pick, and it got back to me really fast, as only Sasha made 2 picks, and it was my turn again, and I picked up Amon again, which I saw in other seasons, and I figured, okay, this would probably work sometime, and I can definitely make good use of it. But back then it didn't fit on the teams I drafted, and this time, because it was really early on in the draft, I figured I could definitely use this one right here and right now, and make a potential enormous threat with it. And it was Alakazam. normal Alakazam because I like to run the potential Sash and the potential Life Orb, and I talked with Shady about this because, like I said, he didn't have much time at all. So I said, okay, what do you think of Zam? And he thought I was gonna draft Mega Alakazam, but I am not that big of a fan of Mega Alakazam. Although without it needing to Mega Evolve, it is definitely very useful in the GPC this league. But I think normal Alakazam is gonna be the threat I wanna have. It has a massive speed, 120 speed. Massive special attack, it has utility moves, Encore, Taunt, it has recovery actually, T-Wave, it can be Mexican offense, but yeah, it's really great. It has coverage moves all around, and it's a threat that people most definitely have to prepare for because it hits hard, it hits definitely hard. And against offensive team I can run Sash, I can run a potential Screen Shatter again, I can open everything. I can do everything. I can be creative with this mon, and people will probably not expect, or maybe even if they expect, Alakazam will run over the teams in my hands. And again, lots of mons got taken. Lots of mons that I wanted to pick up at first. For example, Copelion. I really didn't think it was gonna go around 3, but it was gone, unfortunately. And a lot more mons were actually taken. As it got back to me, stuff like Nidoking was taken, Tornado Steel was taken, which was a potential mon I looked into. Crocodile was actually taken, which was a mon I really wanted, really badly actually. And yeah, that meant that not much on my team was, well, not much on my original draft plan was left, because my original draft plan had those 3 mons which I mentioned earlier: Clefable, Zord X, and Mamoswine. And further on, I wanted to pick up Ludicolo for rain offense, and I wanted to pick up Scolipede, as Scolipede is a massive threat as well, and Scolipede is only 8 points in this league, so it's actually pretty cheap in my opinion, despite it we have the Baton Pass class, even with the class. I think Scolipede is a potential massive threat with its own offensive move pool and offensive sets, or T-Spikes, lead, whatever. But I didn't pick either of those because they got sniped, unfortunately. Well, Scolipede didn't get sniped, but I got a substitute. But we're going to round 4 this time. And again, I didn't have much time, so I looked at what was left, and I was like, well, this mon is a mon I have problem facing with or preparing for, and useful. Usually, I mean. And I picked up Hexorus, and Hexorus is a massive threat. I can run Bandit, Arrogant Scarf, Dragon Dance. It even has some utility moves I can use, and Hexorus is a massive monster because it has a huge attack stat, base 147 if I'm not mistaken. It has some speed, which it could use a little bit more of. It's only base 97, so it can be potentially outsped by Scarfers or by other monsters setup, or just in general outsped. But even though Hexorus has some flaws in its speed, it is a humongous threat, and it can put my team on its back, I think. In hindsight, I did have some questions about this pick, but I actually think it's gonna pull through, as I know how to use it now. I have some experience using it, and I know what its strengths are, how bulky it actually is, because it's not that frill that it dies to every single hit. It actually can live hits very comfortably, usually. Although in League it's not always the case, because people will prepare for monsters like Hexorus, of course. But it will definitely put pressure on my opponent's team, and it will definitely cause my opponent to prepare for Hexorus, even though I might not even bring it. Back again, 2 picks later, Aromatisse joins the team. And Aromatisse is one of those mons I actually wanted really badly season 1. It would have benefited the team so much, and in season 2 as well I wanted it really badly as a substitute for Clefable. And this season, season 3, finally, 3rd time's a charm, I finally picked up Aromatisse as a substitute for Clefable. As I think Aromatisse is a massive monster. It cannot get taunted by its Aromaville ability. It has a great defensive stat, special defensive, physical defensive, HP stat, all very bulky. It is actually pretty offensive, at least can be. Base 99 special attack. Trick Room, support moves, nice move pool to be offensive as well. So, my apologies. So it can be a monster in if I use it that way. It doesn't have to be. But I'm glad I picked the Prometheus. I figured it would get sniped because it has been on the Swallowford FC team both seasons, and this man sniped me twice before with Zartex and Cobalion. So I figured Aromatisse would be taken by him, but luckily he didn't pick that up. He picked up Raikou in the round where I could risk Aromatisse. But luckily I picked up Aromatisse, so that joins the team, and it's gonna be a massive monster. It has some setup opportunities as well in Calm Mind, setup moves I meant, Calm Mind. So yeah, that was a monster that ran against me in the playoffs last season by Swallowford FC. And it could have put in work if he used it correctly, but I froze it of course, so hey. Luckily for me, Aromatisse is trained by me this time and it's not gonna get frozen. But that was my round 5 pick, and round 6 I figured, okay, I had a little bit more time this round, not a massive amount of time, like 5 minutes instead of 1 minute. And I looked at the whole tier list and I was like, okay, I don't even have a Mega yet. What is even left on the whole OU tier, because I have money left, so what's left on the whole OU tier, what is actually worth drafting? And I saw Mega Venusaur, and that kind of changed what my whole plans. Like I said, I wanted to go repeat, I wanted to do Colo, but with Venusaur I I won't say combine those two picks because they are completely different, but I picked up Mega Venusaur because I think it's gonna be a very solid mon, as I think my draft lacked this at this point. Some glue which hold the team together. I think Mega Venusaur is the piece in the puzzle that is gonna put this team on his back. And Mega Venusaur was gonna be my pick, as it's the bulky grass type I was looking for. It's a poison type which I was looking for. It has a massive defensive, massive attack stat, special attack stat, and it's yeah, it's gonna be fucking fantastic. I really think it's gonna be. Yeah, I don't know what's much to say because it's usually picked up round 1 or round 2, but it's despite all these guys being fantastic drafters because they sniped so many months, and I've honestly never seen draft so solid like all of these guys combined together. Even my draft I think is even less solid than most of theirs. But luckily I'm a more skilled player, so I know how to defeat them. But yeah, Mega Venusaur is I think the pick that was luckily for me left over, and I'm glad I picked it up because I think it's going to be a great defensive or even offensive monster that's gonna pull through. That's gonna make this team more threatening than it was already. And yeah, now for round 7, again I had to make a whole lot of picks. With round 7 I figured, okay, this mon was so fantastic for me in the previous season, and I really want it back. I loved it so much. I think it's gonna be. I think it was more useful last season, as it was back then the glue that my team needed. But this season, I think I've got some shenanigans up my sleeve as well. And I'm talking, of course, about Cofagrigus or Cofagrigus. I don't know how to pronounce it necessarily, but I like Cofagrigus more, so I'm gonna call it Cofagrigus. But yeah, this season it's gonna be the captain. Last season it was Cobalion. Season 1 was Nidoqueen, and this season it's gonna be Cofagrigus. And Cofagrigus is of course the monster I fucking adore. It's I think season 1 I loved Reuniclus the best out of everything, and season 2 Cofagrigus was my love. And both of those monsters have a special place in my heart now. And Cofagrigus luckily is back this season, as I think again it's gonna be fucking fantastic. With the mummy ability, it's gonna scare out a whole lot of potential threats for my team. And yeah, basically I can do some trick room shenanigans again. I can do some defensive shenanigans, special defensive shenanigans, Calm Mind. You all know what it does, and it does it fantastically. And I'm glad I picked it up, like I said, like I continuously say, because I figured it would get sniped. I figured people would learn from my draft last season and how I played with this monster, and I figured it would be taken by me, like Reuniclus was taken really early, because it was probably seen by Connor how I used it in season 1. Just like Cobalion was taken around 3 because I used it very well in season 2, if I may say so myself. But yeah, Cofagrigus is still around, so I'm really hyped. I'm really hyped for this season, and Cofagrigus to be the captain for the Cambuur Zygarden in this season, season 3 from the GPC. The draft got back around to me really quickly, and again, not enough time to really make a considered pick. So I picked the mon I wanted the season 1, and it is Sock. It's a mon that I had a more probably difficult time preparing versus, and I figured dude, this mon, you need to pick it up. This mon is a fucking threat. This mon is a real threat, and it's gonna be really useful in every team you face, as it's a massive attack stat is gonna make sure it's gonna break teams. They have to pick further every time Sock comes in, and that's why I picked up Sock. Sock is a fantastic ball breaker. It has also setup opportunities in bulk up. It has taunt, which most people forget, but yeah, I'm just revealing my strategies right here. And yeah, knockoff, poison jab, ice punch. It can do. It has a fantastically wide move pool too, which it can do whatever it wants. And Sock is the mon of my choice, and I think it's gonna be really useful. It's potentially the same thing what Hextech can do if it's choice banded, but yeah, it's a massive offensive threat on my end, which is just a potential breaker of teams, and which was a role that was meant for Nidoqueen last season, but Nidoqueen is unfortunately not with us this season. It's taken by the Dunsparcenals, coached by Sam, which is, has in my opinion one of the most threatening teams. Luckily, he's not in my division though, so I'm fine. But yeah, Sock is the mon I grabbed, and Sock is the mon I'm gonna use to its max potential. Next up, Rhyperior. I needed a solid defensive, well, not necessarily defensive, but a solid ground type. And back, Hippowdon was not taken yet, and Senses was not taken yet. In the same round, I think same round at least. No, actually not. It was taken by the same team. Again, Swallowed for the Sea. What the hell, man? But no, Hippowdon was, I guess, yeah, it was because of the drafting. Hippowdon was not taken when I had my Sock pick, but it was taken when I had my Rhyperior pick. As I wanted Hippowdon as a defensive ground type, as all other defensive ground types were basically gone. The best thing that was left was Stunfisk or whatever, and Stunfisk is really good. No hate to Stunfisk, don't get me wrong, but I wanted something different. And luckily for me, there was one mon left that was potentially a good ground type, and that was Rhyperior. As Rhyperior was the only fully evolved mon I think that was left that wasn't in PU, which is the tier that usually doesn't have the best mons. Not saying it is trash mons, because I picked actually something up in PU, which is a fantastic mon. But for a solid ground type, I wanted something more reliable, and I picked up Rhyperior because Rhyperior has solid offenses and solid defenses. Unfortunately, two massive weaknesses, but that I think that can be covered up. And Rhyperior is, even special defensive, very bulky, so it can deal with potential hit power grasses or hit power waters really nicely. And I can of course still run berries on it, so hey. But Rhyperior is going to be the potential sweeper, potential wall breaker. It can do whatever. It's very versatile, and yeah, unfortunately Crocodile got taken by me because that was my first pick I wanted. But Rhyperior is a nice, fine substitute and can definitely break through teams if I desire so. If I think that role is meant to be for a Rhyperior in that certain matchup. But now to my PU pick, and I still have 12 points left at this point. I mean. And my PU pick is 2 points, and most people save their PU picks for the last round, because PU mons are usually not the most popular when drafting. But I wanted this one really badly, and I figured it could potentially be taken by someone. And my last mon, I had still 10 points left, so I figured, okay, I already kind of, I wouldn't say fucked up my draft, but my draft was done without any planning, except for the first 3 months. And the 2 potential months I want to pick up later on, and I didn't have any notes on me, of course, when I was gone for the whole weekend. Thursday through Sunday, I was gone all of those days, and yeah, I figured, okay, I need something to patch my team. I need something to be a monster, and be a monster that people won't expect it to be, I need something up my sleeve that can surprise my opponent, and that mon is Murkrow. Murkrow is honestly fantastic. I try to build PU teams with Murkrow all the time, can never make it work, but I know Murkrow is a fantastic mon. It's a humongous threat. It has solid offenses, it has solid setup moves. it has its niche, of course, its niche. Is of course the prankster with T-Wave, the prankster with Tailwind, the prankster with Taunt, Roost. It has defog, unfortunately not prankster defog, but Insomnia defog, of course. And of course much more utility moves. And I think Murkrow is gonna definitely be a staple for the team. And it's not like Corphish I'm not gonna use like Corphish, which I didn't use last season. This mon is actually viable in higher tiers, weirdly enough. And yeah, I think Murkrow is gonna be a mon that people often will forget about when preparing their teams. And I think Murkrow is gonna be the threat that's gonna pull through. I won't say it's gonna be MVP, but it's gonna be on there on the list. And last pick. At this point, I figured I just got home actually by this round. Murkrow and Empoleon. It was Sunday, 4 p.m. ish, my time zone at least. And I got back from a party that lasted till 9:30 in the morning, and had like 1.5 hours sleep. And I woke up by people farting in my face. So yeah, I was still very much drunk, very much sobering up and intoxicated. Yeah, I picked up a mon, which I figured would patch all my weaknesses at once. Well, not really, but it was the mon that I think that patched most of my weaknesses. It's Empoleon. And I wanted Empoleon because I figured my special defense, although I do have Aromatisse, I do have Mega Venusaur, I think my physical defense was stronger than my special defense. And because I have Rhyperior, I have Cofagrigus, Skarmory. So I wanted something more specially defensive. And even though Empoleon is a fantastic physical defensive one, it's usually especially defensive in the tiers. So I wanted Empoleon. Also I wanted something with priority, as Empoleon is an Aqua Jetter. Often not even expected to run Aqua Jet, but I think you can surprise people with it, even on our defensive set. It's not uncommon to have defensive one with a priority move, for example Orcanine, which often has E-Speed on its defensive set. But yeah, I figured Empoleon was going to be the glue, another glue of course, to patch up the weaknesses I had. And yeah. My apologies, a slight interruption, but I'll just continue. I think I left it with Empoleon and praising it because it's fantastic. But yeah, to round that off, Empoleon is of course great. It has moves like Stealth Rocks, it has moves like Defog, which is utility. It has Roar, it has of course really good offensive stats as well. So prepare for an offensive Empoleon, which I'm definitely gonna bring, I think. Depends on the matchup of course, but it has Hydro Pump, it has Scald, which is the I want to say 100% burn chance, but I actually used an Empoleon which didn't get a burn in 18 turns. So I might jinx myself here, but I think it's 90% accurate. So, but yeah. Also, of course, it has nice coverage in Ice Beam, a lot more moves, but I'm not gonna spoil everything. And yeah, I think Empoleon is gonna be really nice. And to round off this whole analysis, I think my team has still I still think it has some weaknesses, and I know what my weaknesses are luckily. And this is still Grace Week, I think. Yeah, Grace Week is still 2.5 hours left of Grace Week. So I could potentially still make changes. I don't think I will. I have some mons that I think would be great on my team, but don't want to drop anything necessarily. But yeah, I think I know I have some weaknesses, and I know I would have liked to be around when I drafted, because I would have made some picks differently. And of course I would have been able to check other people's teams, and would have checked how they drafted, and would have adjusted my draft onto how they drafted and what threats they were going to use and how their budget was and whatever. So, but yeah, that's unfortunately not how it went, so I have to roll with this. It's a slight setback, but I still think my team is better than most of the teams I have to face, and especially with me in the driver's seat, I think I'm gonna definitely grab the player spot with ease. No offense to of course any of my opponents, but you're gonna get rolled over. You're gonna get destroyed, slayed, and you're gonna have to fight for the second position. And yeah, to round it off everything, Please tell me what you like or dislike about my draft, and what you think will happen in this season. And if you enjoyed this analysis, if you look forward to this season, and if you look forward to supporting the Cambuur Zygarden for Season 3 of the GPC, make sure to leave a like and leave a comment to let me know what you think. And I hope to see you soon. I hope to see you in week 1 against the Lorient Le Discs. I think I pronounced it correctly because I'm facing a French dude known as Jungle Boogie on Twitter, or Garrett. I'm facing him in week 1. And I'm looking forward to seeing you there. So see ya for now.